Welcome to Raw, Real, and Reconnected. I'm your host, Alexander Hill, and we're here today with Archer Love. Archer is the founder of Now Alchemy. He is the author of Lucid Living and a veteran of the United States Air Force. Welcome, Archer.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for being here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's good to have you on here. We spent some time together in LA. Where we started the Man Tribe, and that's how I got to know you. I think it was through Troy Casey a couple of years back. But here we are. You're living in Austin, and I'm up here in Oregon. So welcome to the show.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, we took a couple of giant leaps there out of Venice Beach.
Absolutely, man.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me about this book, because the last time I saw you, I didn't know you had a book, but sure enough, you're the author of a book called Lucid Living. What's that about?
Yes. Lucid Living is a stream of consciousness designed to help awaken higher states of consciousness within the reader. So it's written in a poetic form. So it's not like an instructions manual on how to live, a more awakened or powerful or conscious life. It's literally simply just a stream of consciousness. So it's more like a conversation, with somebody on perspectives on, like what this means and why these sort of things happen, and how we can handle this type of situation. There are the 12 dynamics of life. So these conscious perspectives are directly related to each dynamic, all the most important ones: money, relationship, spirituality, family, physical body, friendship, service, which is totally separate from money, so it's a stream of consciousness based on all these areas of life and how we can basically manifest our highest possible timeline and stay on the path of our own destiny without kind of being pulled by the maze, the Maya, the matrix, whatever you want to call it.
So when you say manifest the best possible timeline, does that mean there's many timelines that your reality could could manifest, and you're choosing the highest road or the highest path for yourself?
Sure. Yeah, that's a great question. And that is not a topic I address in the book, but for here, I would love to talk about that. Basically, the way I see life is the past and the present and the future is all existing in the now. And there are infinite possibilities for what timeline you're going to experience. So like what I'm saying is, you can't change the past and you can't change the future, but by changing your present moment, basically by shifting your beliefs and your vibration, you then place yourself onto a different timeline that has a different past and a different future. Get what I'm saying? So, a lot of people, they think, oh, I wish this didn't happen in the past, or I really want to create this in the future. So it's not about being like attached to the reality that we've experienced. It's actually shifting our actual reality by changing our beliefs and our vibration to literally place ourselves on a different timeline.
So if somebody raises their vibration and they all of a sudden they're moving forward, they're more abundant, they're more well-spoken, they're more energetic, they're athletic, and they're just like living a higher vibe existence, how does that change their past?
Well, time is quantum, but a timeline is linear. So basically, it's on science. We can't scientifically prove, because we don't have quantum technologies that can study time like this, at least not that I have access to, or that the mainstream has access to. So I can't really say how that will change their past, but it's more of like a perspective. I'll give you an example. So if in my past I had a family member that was, calling me stupid, for example. And I always felt like a victim, like I was being abused. And then I wondered why in future relationships I was manifesting partners were abusing me and calling me stupid. But once I changed my vibration, I then start to see the past differently and might even forget that that ever even happened to begin with, and might actually remember other things happening, like that same person used to bring me ice cream every Wednesday and tell me that they loved me. And now I'm manifesting partners who, like, tell me they love me all the time. It's like, it when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I know exactly what you're saying, and it's really a beautiful perspective, because that's exactly what you're changing, is the perspective. And it's like you're holding resentment, you're holding pain in a past relationship, like a mother wound, or your mother abandoned you, for example, and then you can't keep a relationship with a woman because your mother abandoned you, and deep down in your subconscious you don't trust women, right? So it's, once you change that relationship in your past, your life, your present and your future start to look a lot different. And really, what do we have as records of the past? We might have some photos, or we might have some, memories, but really it's like, when I guess what you're saying is, once you change that memory, you change that perspective.
Yeah, it means something different. It
Yeah.
feels different when you see it. It feels different when you think about it. Um, yeah, and also what I'm saying, and this is a little bit more far out, but it's even possible that if you change your vibration enough, pictures and journals and things like that might even change.
Mm. How
You
so?
know what I'm saying? Well, like physically, like things might actually change in the physical form where you place yourself on such a drastically different timeline that you literally wake up to a different past with no recollection of the past you used to have. You have a whole new story behind you. But what I was saying before is that, there's no way to study that or prove it. It's a theory.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So it's actually, I believe anything is possible, really. That's one of my core beliefs. And I think in order to be a powerful manifester, we really have to walk with that core belief of, hey, anything's possible. And so I really think that, in this timeline uh, topic, that if you change your vibration so much that, like, you can actually change in physical form the people and the things, um your body, your body structure. Like, I actually think photographs can change. um but here's the thing too, they don't change. Both realities still exist. You're just now living in a different reality, you know.
You know what I think changes? I think you change, and then the way you look at the picture changes. So it's like you might be looking at the same picture. Obviously, the picture might decompose a little bit and change color and whatnot. But like, you're a different person with a different perspective of your mother, for example.
Exactly.
And then
Yes.
you like, you could just look at that picture and feel something different. So like, and you and
Totally.
I, we both journeyed before, so we know that there's so much more
Mhm.
to the equation than what meets the eye.
Yeah,
So
so, well, there's that for sure.
mhm.
but I but what I was, and I totally agree with that 100%. What I was saying was that it's possible you could change your vibrations so much that what you just said also exists, but then there's another shift that exists where there's such a change that, like, you're not even living in the same physical reality. Like, here's an example. You can change your vibration so much that the 2020 didn't happen. 2020 was um Donald Trump wasn't president, somebody else was president. And and it wasn't BLM, it was ALM, Asian Lives
What?
Matter. Like what I'm saying is, if you change your vibration so much, you could possibly change the entire history of the timeline that you're on.
All right.
So you're living a whole different existence. But that's it. Like I said, I prefaced that theory by saying it's a far out theory, and I understand that.
I want some of this. I want some of this now alchemy. What's up?
The Ormus, man.
Tell me about the Ormus.
Yeah.
How'd you get into alchemy? You know, how did this journey begin for you, and how did you become so passionate about this?
Yeah, so, I was in the United States Air Force. And when I was discharged from the Air Force, I had anxiety and depression, and I felt very lonely and lost. And so I became interested in psychology and medicine. I thought that being a psychiatrist might be a really great career for me because I had issues in my mind that I wanted to heal. So I went to the University of Arizona, and I was pre-med, and I studied chemistry, nutritional science, and psychology. I graduated pre-med, but during my undergrad, I did research projects with doctors. I worked in pharmacy. I worked in hospice care, and I did other types of volunteer things in the hospitals. And I, for several reasons, decided not to go Western medicine route. But I didn't know about shamanic medicine yet and alchemy and stuff like that. So I started pursuing the arts of entertainment in all forms, music, acting, modeling, all that stuff. Just to get to know myself better and sort of work with myself as an instrument. It's just another way of getting to know my psychology, my mind. And while I was in Los Angeles, I crossed paths with some pretty interesting, fascinating medicine workers of sorts, and I discovered ayahuasca, and I discovered this special form of gold that the ancient Egyptians used, the Essene Brotherhood, which Jesus Christ was a member of, used, and many other spiritual and occult elitist organizations had used throughout history to activate higher strands of DNA, awaken higher states of consciousness, help the body repair itself better. Some called it the fountain of youth. And the special form of gold is called Ormus. And so they would collect it from the Dead Sea in Israel. And you can also collect it, from the skins and seeds of fruits and vegetables. Its Ormus is in basically all living things. And so I started making this myself, and it really changed my life. My anxiety and depression and all that sort of stuff just became very soothed, and I started to feel very present. For actually, like, honestly, the first time since even before I was in the military, like, I don't even know really if I ever really felt that type of presence. Like, I felt present, like I could listen to people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I could actually listen to people, like, without thinking. and Ormus did that for me. So that was huge. Just even little subtle things like that were life changing. People, and then I started giving it to people, and because of these subtle changes, their careers were changing, their relationships were changing, their bodies were changing. My body started changing. For example, my hair grows like crazy, and I could never have long hair before I started using Ormus, because it would basically just start getting beyond a couple inches. It would just start getting really brittle and whatnot. And it just wasn't happening for me. I started taking Ormus, my hair started growing super long, and my skin started looking great. My acne stopped, and yeah, it's just amazing. So it's got gold in it, and it has all the minerals from the Dead Sea.
So Ormus is monoatomic gold?
Yes, but you can also do other platinum group metals in an Ormus form. So there's platinum, rhodium, ruthenium, rhodium, palladium, silver, and copper, they can all occur in a monoatomic form. But the form I love to work with the most is gold. And the form that has been most documented throughout history is gold.
Mm.
Yeah.
So we're not talking about the gold that, they took out of the ground in California, at the gold rush, or pan for gold in the rivers of, you know, we're talking
Yes.
about.
Actually, we are, but it's in a different state. It's not in its metal state. It's more like a mineral. Colloidal silver.
Yeah.
Like there's a difference between like silver flakes and a silver nugget or a bar, and then like a colloidal or a nano suspension of silver. It's more like a mineral. It's bioavailable. It absorbs into the cells. So this is what Ormus is like, except it's even smaller than colloidal. On a scientific level, which I don't even normally get into because I don't like to bore people, but the bonding is different. It's called Cooper pairing. So there's no metallic bond. It's more of a magnetic interaction between the particles. And some of the particles, when they enter the body, do bond and become colloidal, but a lot of them will stay monoatomic and work with the nervous system, with the pineal gland, and actually even with our DNA in different ways. So like I said earlier, like activating higher strands of DNA is the same thing of activating higher consciousness. So the way I see it is that DNA is a dimension, which is a density. So as you activate higher strands of DNA, you actually ascend through higher dimensional planes and become less and less dense and more expanded. And so then that leads to more and more enlightenment over time because you're seeing things from a higher perspective. And I actually believe gold is able to do that. And on an energetic level, it has super conductive properties, which is also synonymous to saying it's literally raising your vibration.
Mm.
There's like a spiritual component as well as a physical.
Yes. So it sounds like there's this mitochondrial DNA activation that's happening, and it seems like the mitochondria in the cell is what always gets activated, and that's like the energy house of the cell. And the same thing kind of happens like when we jump in an ice bath. uh, the energy in the
Mm-hmm.
cell, the health of the cell, like our would you say our health is a reflection of the cells in our body? Like, obviously we are the cells in our body, so if each individual cell is healthier, as a whole we become healthier.
Yeah, totally. And the Ormus, actually, the body makes Ormus, like your body makes gold. And when you do things like ice bath and exercise and breath work and fasting, even, your body will start to make more stem cells, more monoatomic elements, more antioxidant. A lot of people don't realize their body makes antioxidants too. It's like we don't need everything. We do need everything from outside, but not to the extent that people think. And so, yeah, I do think that things like ice bath have a similar effect as actually just taking Ormus, because I think it actually allows your body to make more on its own.
Wow, amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I stopped working out for a little while when I moved to Texas because I got so busy. And I was so busy moving around and everything that I was thinking, with my human ego logical brain kicked in for a minute and actually gave me an excuse to not work out for a couple months. I got away with this. And I can't believe I did that. I'm not that person to do that. And a few months went by and I noticed a huge shift in my energy, my aura, my thought processes. And I thought, wow, this is an amazing reminder of how essential exercise is. Like, oh my God, it's life changing. But I did it for so long that I never realized how I didn't even know how important it was till I stopped.
I went through something similar. I put on the COVID-19, and you know, moved up here to Oregon. But I got to tell you, man, once I set the intention to get healthier and lose weight, it happened really, really quickly. And I feel just like living in this colder environment, I feel in some ways healthier and more adaptable. I go in the river, whether I work out or not, I try to go in the river every day, and the river is really cold. So there's something about that that's just like, it just resets me in a beautiful way. And yeah, I feel like just doing that and, kind of eating a very different diet. In LA, I would eat like a very tropical diet. It would be a much lighter diet. Here, there's raw goat milk. We know our farmer, our local farmer.
Yum.
We have, what else do we have? Like, just, most people just have chickens and eggs and, and there's a lot of really good meat. There's elk meat. It's not difficult to get wild fish and, wild salmon, from up north. So yeah, we're in full on like Pacific Northwest country up here. And it's changed my body, man. Like eating a lot of these foods, it's just like, I feel different physically than the diet I had, where it was warmer and SoCal and all of that. So it's been about a year.
Yeah, I feel you. I was vegan for about 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was vegan for about 3 years, and when I started eating meat again, I became so happy.
Yeah.
I got happier. I was like, wow, I'm just happy.
Yeah.
But like when I was vegan, like joy, happiness was like work. Like I was like, I gotta figure out how I can experience joy. And like when I started eating meat, I was just like, oh, I feel good in my body. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you feel that way because do you think your ancestors ate meat, so it's like kind of a memory for your cells, or what do you think about that? Do you think it's like is it in your blood type to eat meat? Like, because I know there's a small percentage of the population who can actually function on a plant-based diet, but I think for the majority of us, our ancestors ate meat. So I know for me, I certainly feel better and stronger when I eat meat. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question. I personally, I would have to say that I really believe um, everybody is better off with the right amount and the right type of meat prepared in the right way. I don't think that there's any substitution for meat. It's just different. It's totally different. The amount of, I honestly think meat is a superfood.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd have to
Especially
agree.
the organ.
I'd have to agree. And in Chinese medicine, they say the same thing. They say, treat meat as medicine, and when your body needs it, when you should eat it. And not like a 16-ounce porterhouse, but maybe the right portion for your body. And I think where was I going with that? But yeah, there's definitely a difference. So you're not ready to go beyond meat?
It's a good one. No, because I appreciate my sperm count, and I'm not trying to get rid of it.
Mm. Yeah, they're really pushing this beyond meat. I see it in Costco. It's in basically every major supermarket now. Like,
Yeah, man, they're really working on depopulating the planet. They've invested vast amounts of resources into marketing their um, depopulation campaigns, veganism being one of them.
mm,
Yeah. And I tried it. I can only say this because I tried it. I did it for long enough to know what it is about. And also lifestyle has a lot to do with it. Like if you're not really that active, you can get away with a lot more, but when you're like up and at 'em every day, and you're like giving it your best and your all, and you're working out and everything, sometimes you got to have some meat.
I agree with that. I agree with that. So tell me more about this depopulation. Is that something that you can speak on, or the agenda?
Yeah, I don't mind speaking on it, but I would have to just disclaimer that this is like, my perspective, and some of these things that I'll say on that subject are theories that I personally believe, but I can't say that I could prove it true or false.
Got it. Got it.
I just have different reasons for why given my what I've been exposed to informationally, I definitely have some reasons to believe that. Well, for example, I saw a video where Bill Gates literally said in the video in a conference that he plans on depopulating the earth by 3 billion people, and that would be good for the human race and good for the planet, as like a solution. And I also know that Bill Gates was one of the funders for the Game Changers documentary, where even Arnold Schwarzenegger was talking in the Game Changers documentary about being vegetarian. Arnold Schwarzenegger owes the success of his entire career as a bodybuilder to him eating massive amounts of meat year after year after year for his whole life, and now he's on there talking about being a vegetarian. And the same guy who said he wanted to depopulate the earth by 3 billion people also is donating money to this vegan campaign. And there is scientific studies done to prove that in long term, like year after year after year, like long term effect of a vegan diet on men can lower sperm count.
I don't even know, like, I mean, who's really fallen for it? Because almost everybody that I know that's an active fitness person, I don't know that many vegans anymore. I feel like there used to be more, but I feel
Mhm.
like most of the vegans I knew, including my wife was vegan for 4 years. They all went back. They all went back to eating animal protein. So, so I think, I don't know. So you're basically saying you don't agree with what Bill Gates said. Do you think 3 billion is too much, or should it be 4 billion, or maybe a little bit less, like 2 billion?
No, I honestly think that the world is not overpopulated, but that the cities are overpopulated, and that if we have enough space on the planet for every family to have their own acre of land to farm their own vegetables and have their own goat and have their own goat milk and have some chickens, like there's enough space on the planet to just spread things out, allow people to work their own agriculture, and that would honestly solve all our issues. The problem is cramming people into cities and then like forcing them to live on top of each other.
Yeah.
That's the issue. Yeah.
Steve Harvey did a video on this. I don't know if you saw it, but he was looking to get land as his comedy career took off, and he did the numbers, and he said, okay, there's 7-8 billion people on the planet, and there's X number of acres on planet Earth, and it came down to 6 acres a person.
Wow.
So that means that
A person.
a
Wow.
family of 3 could potentially have 18 acres. And
Right.
then you're also discounting, you're discounting the fact that a lot of people, aren't able to take on the responsibility of having land, and, are just living in apartments and things like that. So there's a lot of people that don't even want land or know what to do with land. So basically he started with, I think, 18 acres, and then he kept praying to God for all the people that he knew that were never going to get their own land. And then he wound up with like 400 acres. So pretty cool story.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Good to know.
He was like, my homie Ron ain't going to use his 6. Hey, God, can I have his 6?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, man. So did you just got some land of your own? Is that right? And you can talk about that a little bit.
Uh, Actually, yeah, I got some. So when I was in Los Angeles, I was renting. Can you see me? My phone just gave me a low. All right, low battery
We
warning.
can wrap it
Yeah,
up.
when I was in Los Angeles, I was renting a lab in Los Angeles, which was an hour north of my studio apartment, and it wasn't actually my studio apartment. I was subletting it from a friend. For 3 years, I sublet a studio apartment from a friend. So I was living in my car before that. So technically, I was homeless for about 7 years in Los Angeles while building my business. And then I came out here to Texas during COVID-19 because things were so unstable, and it showed me that if I want Now Alchemy to be reliable, regardless of what the world is going through, then I'm going to have my own land. So I got some land and built a lab on it for Now Alchemy, and yeah, everything is made on my actual property now, where I can
Wow,
fully control the operations and know that no matter what's going on in the world, tomorrow, I'm going to wake up and that lab's still going to be there.
that's awesome, brother. And congratulations on that. And
Thank you.
how can people find you? How do people learn more? Where can they go if they're interested in educating themselves about what you do?
Yeah. My Instagram is Archer Love, ARCHER Love.
Mhm.
Uh, the website for the Ormus is nowalchemy.com. I also have a personal website, archerlove.com, that I'm building right now. I'm going to be providing exercise programs, diet regimens, all of my non-CBD elixirs, my book, spiritual videos, and all that type of stuff on it. But I would definitely recommend for everybody listening to go to nowalchemy.com, get a bottle of Ormus, and the C60 is also pretty amazing. You know about C60, right?
Tell us.
Well, C60 is an incredible substance. The scientists who first found a way to isolate it in a laboratory setting won the Nobel Peace Prize in science, and that was in 2012. And then let's see, when was it? I think it was like 2016, I think it was. There was a study on a group of mice and rats where a different group of scientists were able to prove that this C60 made in the same way, administered through olive oil, was able to double the lifespan of mice and rats and make them immune to lethal amounts of radiation. So that was a study that made C60 promising for counteracting the negative effects of things like 5G radiation, electromagnetic frequency, and all this type of stuff that the world is bombarding us with. And the reason it works that way is because C60 is a special molecule that absorbs free radicals at a rate of about 100 times faster than an antioxidant. So it's like the future of antioxidants, or it's like a super antioxidant. And so by absorbing these free radicals, um, takes takes the load off of our immune system, takes the load off of our body. And so while it's not stimulating, it actually gives us a lot more energy. And so it's energizing. It's great for athletes, super anti-aging, and really great for protecting us against radiation damage. And viruses are made inside of the cells of a person, right? So viruses, they're made inside of a body. So I just want to reiterate that again: a virus cannot be made outside of a body. Like if there's a virus that affects human beings, it's only made inside the human being's body. So you can't like eat a virus. If there's a virus that doesn't affect the human race, you you can't it wouldn't have come from anything external. So
So
a
it
lot of
can't it can't it
scientists,
can't hang out on the dumbbells. It can't hang out on the bench press or like
Not unless it was already created inside of the human body, inside of a human cell. So it can, like you can pass on these toxic cells. A virus is just a toxic cell, but of mRNA or DNA. So they have to be made in the body first. So scientists try to figure out where viruses come from and how they're made. And a lot of them think, well, it's obviously just the natural aging process of stress. Sometimes, our mRNA goes bad, our DNA goes bad as we age. It's stress, stress that happens internally just from even digesting food, puts out free radicals and inflammation and causes stress. It's just a natural part of life. But externally, we're being hit with all different forms of toxicity and chemicals and radiation. And these things, they enter our bodies and they poison us. And that is what creates new forms of viruses every day that our immune system has to counteract. So when you're taking something like C60 that helps to protect you against like radiation, it's not just helping to keep you from aging, it's actually fighting off viruses as well.
Gotcha. It makes
Yeah.
sense. And how do people find that? It's just on the website? Is it special formula?
Yeah.
Or?
Nowalchemy.com.
Awesome.
And yes, it's a bottle that says the special formula.
Nice.
No, it says C60.
Nice. All right, brother. Well, thanks for introducing your work, and it's an honor to have you here and have this conversation, and I hope to do it again one day soon.
Yeah, it was great speaking with you and catching up. Awesome to see your face, your beautiful, bright smile. So take care of the family. Best of luck to you guys out there in Oregon.
All right, Archer. One love, brother.
All right, bless.